everybody, this is Mrs. Valentine. We're going to do a little bit of practice with one-step equations. All of these problems are going to have adding and subtracting in order to solve them using positives and negatives. And this time we're going to do it with no tiles. All I want you to do is go ahead and write this title at the top of your page. So go ahead and get a piece of paper to work along with me. And then we're just going to number the problems on that page. Just kind of keep it nice and neat. You should be able to fit everything right on the front of your paper. And then when you're all done, you're going to take a picture of this and send it to me as your completed assignment on Google Classroom. All right, here we go. Here's your first one. So this is a problem that we could do with algebra tiles. So I want you to just think about it with algebra tiles for a minute. So we have x plus 3 equals 5. We're going to look at the side that has the x on it, and it has a positive 3 over there with it. And that positive 3 is being added to the x. The x is by itself. The positive 3 is the only thing on that same side of the equal sign. So the way we get rid of those would be those 3 little blue tiles. I want you to picture that in your head. You've got those 3 extra little blue tiles. You're going to need 3 little red tiles, those little negatives, in order to make 0 pairs to make this gone, that positive 3 gone. So we're going to go ahead and use a negative 3. We're going to do that on both sides of the equation. So the positive 3 and the negative 3 together, they make 0, but we still have an x on that side, so we're going to bring the x down. That's what's left on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, 5 minus 3, that just gives us 2. So that one should be pretty easy to see without tiles, but I want to use that same kind of idea on doing some other problems. Let's try another one. Okay, here's your next one. So let's say instead we had x plus 30 equals 40. Now nobody wants to make this with algebra tiles. It would just be way, way, way too many tiles to deal with. But we can use those same ideas that we've used with the algebra tiles. So if we look at the left-hand side, we see that we have a single x, but then we also have 30 positives, positive ones. So there would be 30 little blue tiles. And we need to get those 30 little blue tiles out of there. We need them to be gone. And so what we need is 30 of the red negative tiles to make 0 pairs with it. So we're going to need negative 30. Well, if we do that to the left side, we also have to do it to the right side. Now let's total up and see what we have left. On the left-hand side, that positive 30 and the negative 30 together, they're going to make 0, but we still have the x over there. On the right-hand side, 40 minus 30, that's just going to give us 10. So there we've done it very easily without even using our tiles, but just kind of remembering what we did with tiles and using that same logic to use just the recording on paper. Okay, so when you're pause this if you need to, and then we're going to go on to the next one. Okay, here's number 3. We've got x minus 15 equals negative 20. So the x is over here on the left, and we have a negative 15. So that's like having 15 little red tiles over here with it. We need to get rid of those 15 little red tiles. How are we going to do that? We're going to form a 0 pair with it. So we're going to need 15 positive little blue tiles. So let's put positive 15 on this side. We're going to put the same thing on the other side, positive 15. Well, we know that the positive 15 and the negative 15 together are going to make 0. That's going to leave us with just x, just like we want. On the right-hand side, I'm going to make a quick scoreboard to make sure I have this right. So 20 goes on the negative side, 15 goes on the positive side. So who wins? Negatives. We're going to get negative, and they win by 5. 20 minus 15 is 5. So we get x is equal to negative 5. We did it without any tiles. Get that copy down. Pause if you need to before we go on to the next. Here's number 4. Okay, so 22 equals x minus 18. We'll draw our line down through the middle. This side, the x is over on the the right-hand side. So we're going to look over here on the right-hand side. We've got our single x, but then we have a negative 18 over here with it. So it's like having 18 of those little red 1 tiles. We want to make those little red 1 tiles go away. The only way we can do that is by making a 0 pair. So if we had 18 negative tiles, we're going to need 18 positive blue tiles to get rid of them. So positive 18 on this side, which means we also need positive 18 on this side. Let's total up and see what we've got. 8 plus 2, that makes 10. Put down a 0, carry the 1. And 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 more makes 4. We get 40 on the left. And on the right, we just have our x. So x is equal to 40. Again, we didn't use our tiles. We just thought about them and thought about how they would work and how they would help us solve the problem without actually doing them. Okay, so now I'm going to start putting the problem down. I want you to pause it once I have it written down so that you can write it down and try it on your own before you hit play again. So go ahead and pause it. Okay, so you're back now. Hopefully you did this one on your own. Let's go ahead and talk through it and see if you did it correctly. So you have x on the right-hand side of the equation over here, and you also have a positive 8 over here with it. So we need to get rid of that positive 8. It's like having 8 little blue 1s over there. The only way we're going to be able to do that is by getting rid of the positive 8 1s with 8 red negatives, negative 1s. So negative 8 on this side and negative 8 on this side. Total that up. 16 minus 8 gives us 8. On the right-hand side, all we get left is x. So it ends up that x is equal to 8. You can just turn that right around. Did you get that one right? If not, make some corrections. Here's the next one. So remember, I'm going to write this down. I want you to try it on your own first. So go ahead and pause this. Try it on your own. And then once you're done, hit play again. Okay, you're back. You've got x on the left-hand side here, and you have negative 9. So it's like having 9 red tiles with it. So in order to get rid of those red tiles, we need to have 9 blue tiles. So we're going to do plus 9 on both sides. So the negative 9 and the positive 9 together make 0, but we still have the x left. On the right-hand side, 11 plus 9 makes 20. Feel free to use a calculator on this. That's fine. It's really about, can you take the right step so that you end up with the right answer. Okay, here's the next one. Almost done. We're only going to 8. So we've got x plus 13 equals negative 17. Whoops. Again, go ahead and pause this, try it on your own, and check back in a minute. Okay, so you're back. We had x on this side, and it also had 13 positive 1s over there with it. So we need to have 13 negative 1s to make a 0 pair with it. So we're going to put a negative 13 here, and also a negative 13 on the other side. So the positive 13 and negative 13 together make 0, but we still have the x left. On the right-hand side, I'm going to make sure I make a scoreboard for this. I don't want to mix up what I'm doing. So 17 is negative. It's going to go on the negative side. 13 is also negative. It's going to go on the negative side. I'm going to add these up, which comes out to 30. Feel free to use a calculator on that if you want to. And it's all still on the negative side. So the negatives win, and they win by 30. So x is equal to negative 30. Did you get that one right? Make sure you're using your scoreboard. And here's the last one. Number 8. X minus 12 equals negative 20. So go ahead and pause this and try it on your own first. Okay, now that you're back, We have the x over here on the left, and there's also a negative 12 over here with it. So it's like having 12 little red negative tiles. We're going to need to have 12 blue positive tiles, so positive 12 added to the left. So we also need to put a positive 12 on the right. So that leaves us with just x on the left. Since positive 12 and negative 12 make 0, x is the only thing left. And on the right hand side, I'm going to make my scoreboard. So 20 is negative and 12 is positive. So the negatives definitely win. I'm going to put my negative down, and I need to subtract to see by how much, or just count up. And I can use a calculator for that, or I can just even use my fingers, and that's going to come out to 8. Okay, so make sure you had those 8 problems complete and do them correctly. Feel free to rewind this video if you need to, and then go ahead and submit a picture of your work onto Google Classroom where you see this assignment. Okay? All right, if you did not get a chance to work on the IXL from last week, go ahead and work on that too. You'll see that it's listed on the Google Classroom from last week. Okay, thanks everybody. Bye. Stay well.